next up, we have our third speaker of the evening. It's Gerry Hill. Now, Gerry serves as VP for EMEA for ConnectandSell. He is a revenue strategist and sales scientist, helping companies design sustainable and repeatable go-to-market processes and strategies. He has independently consulted to and served over 28 companies in the past 5 years, helping them achieve breakthrough growth and investment goals. Before that, he has sat in Chief Revenue Officer seat for 2 pre-revenue companies, taking them from zero money to 7-figure ARR in less than 24 months. He has also founded and failed at one tech company, and Gerry started his formal career in sales at 15 years old, peddling sportswear at his local branch of Intersport on his high street. He's currently serving on the advisory board of 2 UK-based technology scale-ups, alongside building ConnectandSell's business in Europe. So he'll be keeping very busy. His title for this speech this evening is Defensive and Offensive Plays to Help Manage Your Revenue in a Crisis. So please join me in welcoming Gerry to the stage.
Thanks very much for that, Claire. I hope everyone can hear me okay. Firstly, I loved everything that Owen had to say. There was a lot of empathy, a lot of emotional intelligence about what a lot of us are feeling right now. I took a note, and the first thing that I sort of suddenly thought when Owen was sort of discussing the reason to be in motion today is this: what you do today is the future health of your company. So there is a reason to be in conversation with your market. The second thing that I absolutely love from him is you have an opportunity to be the expert and not the salesperson. And that links into something that I'll speak about in a bit more detail shortly. Some research of my fellow panelists this evening shows that I am the grandfather tonight. In fact, I think it's only Geraldine and me who are speaking this evening who worked in the front line through the last Great Recession. So I'm definitely showing my age. I believe there are a lot of lessons learned, though, during that period, which I can bring forward into the conversation we're having tonight. Before I go on my 5-minute gallop on tactics, I just quickly wanted to characterize what I believe this crisis means right now for revenue leaders. And maybe this perspective will sort of sharpen some swords for some of you. We are in a situation which either keeps sellers at home or reduces vendor access to customer sites. Developing and deploying approaches that penetrate these new barriers without losing the human touch is essential for sales success, revenue continuity, but more importantly, for a lot of us in this group, business survival. One book I can consistently refer back to and reread is The Hard Things About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz, principal at the legendary VC firm in the Bay Area, Andreessen Horowitz. 2 statements he discussed in the book set the scene for what a number of us will be experiencing for the first time professionally. And I think both of these statements will speak to you as a leader and what your potential relationship to your CEOs will be like in the coming days and weeks. The first is this: peacetime CEO strives to tolerate deviations from the plan when coupled with effort and creativity. Wartime CEO is completely intolerant. The second one is this: peacetime CEO aims to expand the market softly and gently. Wartime CEO aims to win the market or risk going out of business. I feel it'll be interesting to gauge at some point, either this evening or after tonight, what people's reaction to these statements are, how it makes you feel, and whether or not they align to whether you are either war or peace by nature, crisis or calm. It's in this context I have 10 thoughts on what you can do tactically to get through a crisis. Some of these ideas are offensive, so to attack, and some are defensive, to protect and conserve your position. And they are in no particular order of priority. The first is this: embrace your existing customers early and now. It's important that you understand the value you provide and whether you consistently align your service or product to their mission-critical business requirements. Your existing customers are generally easier to sell to, and retention should be a big focus on your time and effort at the moment. Mobilize your success teams and executive leaderships into your key accounts to ensure revenue continuity. Number 2, Figure out where your services are nice to have versus must have, and place your next bets on the types of customers and value where you can align to wartime needs. To apply some context to this, I went out for a drink with a good friend of mine last week who is a senior finance executive at a Fortune 20 company. He described that he is currently analyzing every cost in the business and reporting on it daily to the CFO and CEO. In his words, if you can't save us money or really accelerate revenue growth with no additional cost attached, we will scrutinize why we need you and stop doing business with you. Number 3, and dearest to my heart, always be prospecting. Keep speaking to your market and get signals early on from that market as to where you can turn opportunity into revenue, or even where you can just offer legitimate business help. I would advise leaders to deliver on this as well. Every day, our chief revenue officers, CEOs, and VPs need to show an example to their scared troops and be in the trenches, leading this from the front line. Relying on your peacetime fuel lines won't cut it. We are seeing heavy reports from a lot of our customers at ConnectandSell at the moment of inbound lead velocity falling off a cliff. And if we're honest, many sales development reps right now won't have the maturity or emotional intelligence yet to cope with crisis-based conversations with stressed out executives who are thinking emotionally. Leaders and senior staff members can turn what these customers are saying into market signals and break through the fog of war in a way your junior staff simply can't. Number 4, think about the length of deals and strive for extended terms and multi-year contracts where you can, but also being open to be flexible. Conceptually, longer deal terms should increase stability and help in decreasing monthly or annual churn with your customers, while setting customers up for long-term success. Upstream and at a business level, this helps with conversations with your banks, financing vehicles, and investors in an attempt to show stability in your value to the market. However, I appreciate that each business model and service is different, so then it's imperative that you understand the cost to onboard and service a new customer so you are not losing money with overly flexible terms, which have the potential to put you on the back foot and dilute your equal business value in the transaction. In some cases, this may mean more money up front to your customer, but not locking in those who have fear, uncertainty, and doubt about what happens tomorrow. In summary, show situational awareness, not desperation, and lead every deal with your maximum value. Number 5, and in critical, double down on coaching and enablement. Think thoughtfully about any current or future hiring and its necessity. Spend time instead on making your existing teams better and more effective and align them to the market conditions. Many of us will begin to realize that headcount coverage model is inconsistent, full of false promises, and generally overstated as a growth driver. Moreover, it's remarkably expensive when money is at a premium. Technology like Jiminy, Refract, Gong, Chorus, they'll all be an asset to you in helping you scale your coaching efforts. 6, triple down on your tools and technologies. They can be your force multiplier if you focus on how to really squeeze them for their full value. The poker players in a market like this will invest heavily and go harder and faster and start strategically trying to take markets, possibly from you, by following this play and simply scaling their technology investments instead of scaling against humans. 7, think like a business person, not a salesperson. It's imperative that everybody gets into the headspace of CFOs, as they will be the people who run companies through crisis. Terms, in particular, will be where CFOs spend their time negotiating and being hard. Generally, all of us in this group have bigger customers whose cost of money is significantly cheaper than yours. So it's imperative that you think through ways to make your team savvier to the wartime CFO and the business mindset and impact. I can't overstate this enough. They are the power behind the throne, and you need to be mindful of this in all of your engagements moving forward. This business savviness has a second consequence, that your coaching needs to be focused on ways your service or proposition provides meaningful business impact to your customers. Features, benefits, solution pillars, category language, why me battle cards, they will fast become redundant. Your people need to communicate and get micro commitments to agree on the value throughout the entire sales process. In a potentially zero-based budget environment today, can you look honestly into your team and see the people who have the ability to drive that value consistently, as well as drive the budget which is no longer existent in parallel when most buying is in lockdown. The talk tracks that you coach against need to change urgently to accommodate this new requirement. Number 8, category creators will thrive as they often find new ways to create new types of value. The 2008 recession grew up a whole bunch of new categories that are now ubiquitous today. Most of the cloud technologies that we operate in, Salesforce.com accelerated its growth because it created a new category. So be aware of the category creators. New pricing, different ways to share risk, consumption models on demand will all catch attention to the aware buyer. 9, and my last point, second to last point, 9, I will say this very loud for the people in the back. You don't melt if you work more than 8 hours in a day. A lot of conversations in this forum focus on work-life balance, but I fear that they will start to shift and dilute in the next few weeks and months. It's a shame, but it's also a fact of war. Your most inspired, motivated, and empathetic teammates will treat this like the playoffs or the final stages of the World Cup and really step up. Doing is what is needed. Many of your pillars will crumble. This was a common symptom that I recognized when working in the 2008 era, with many superstars having their best deals pulled from them and no pipeline to prop them up when their major accounts and deals fell through. Hard work and consistency will matter more than it ever has to your revenue environment. Lastly, be fast. Be really fast. Be fast in every follow-up. Be fast with every promise. Be fast in every function of your sales process. Execute your promises faster and win the trust race against your competition. That's a summary of the things that I feel like I learned in the recession of 2008. I'm acutely aware that there are different market conditions today, and the recession that I grew up in was structural and based on human negligence, not potential catastrophic health failings. But I think that there are messages there, whether or not you like the war and peace allegory, which stand up, and things that I hope that you can take back into your operating environments tomorrow morning and act immediately. I thank you very much.